You might have dwelt on the different ways that your parents shaped you, from their warmth and strictness to their generosity and kindness. But perhaps you haven't thought so much about the consequence of one particularly important gift they bestowed upon you, your name, and whether you like it or not, and how wider society views it.
Parents often agonize over what to call their children. It can feel like a test of creativity or a way to express their own personalities or identities through their offspring. But what many parents might not fully realize, I know I certainly didn't, is that the choice that they make over their children's name could play a part in shaping how others see their child and therefore ultimately the kind of person their child becomes.
Because a name is used to identify an individual and communicate with the individual on a daily basis. It serves as the very basis of the one's self-conception, especially in the relation to others. Say David Zhu, a professor of management and entrepreneurship at the Arizona State University, who researches the psychology of names.
Of course, many factors sculpt our personality. Some of it is influenced by our genes. Formative experience play a huge role, so too the people we hang out with, and ultimately the roles we take on in life, whether at work or in the family. Amidst all these dynamics, it is easy to forget the part played by our names, a highly personal influence imposed on us from birth that is usually with us through life, unless we go to the trouble of changing it. As Golden Alport, one of the founders of personality psychology, put in 1961, quote, "The most important anchorage to our self-identity throughout life remains our own name," quote. At a basic level, our names can reveal the details about our ethnicity or other aspect of our background, which in a world of social bias carries inevitable consequences. For instance, American research conducted in the wake of the 9/11 terror attacks found that the exact same resume were less likely to attract interviews when attributed to a person with an Arabic-sounding name as compared with a white-sounding name. This is unjust on many levels, particularly because names can be an unreliable indicator of our background.
These consequences should not be taken lightly, but that is not where the influence of name ends. Even within a single culture, names can be common or rare. They can have certain positive or negative connotation in terms of their meaning, and they can be seen as appealing or unfashionable and disliked. And those views can change over time with fashions too. In turn, these features of our names inevitably affect how others treat us and how we feel about ourselves. A study from the 2000s, led by US psychologist Jean Twenge, found that even after controlling for a family background and general dissatisfaction with life, people who didn't like their own name tended to have poorer psychological adjustment. This was most likely either because their lack of confidence and self-esteem caused them to dislike their name or disliking their name contribute to their lack of confidence. The names becomes a symbol of the self. Twenge and her co-author wrote,
And then, in the terms of how names affect the way we are treated by others, consider a German study published in the 2011 tape, in which users of a dating said they were asked whether they would like to follow up with the potential dates on the basis of their names. Jackson Gibor, Nobelist at the University of Mannheim and his college include Wiki Neberich found that people with names considered unfashionable at the time, such as Kevin, were more likely to be rejected as compared with people with more trendy names, such as Alexander.
You make me feel special.